Hi guys and welcome back to Modest Lucario Gaming, and we're here with yet another deck profile. It's just one that I've been messing about with. Very interested in using it. I'm going to use it in my upcoming locals. It's my take on the Invoked Dogmatika deck with a little touch of the Albaz engine, which is just the fusion. So the reason I kind of went for this is because Invoke's one of my favorite archetypes. If you can call it an archetype, it's more of an engine. I'm really a big fan of the deck. It's one of my favorite decks to use. I kind of seen the synergy with the branded fusion along with the Dogmatika and the Invoked engine, so I've had a funny feeling it would work. Upon testing, it's very good. It's very consistent as well. It's a lot more consistent having that extra power card in the start, so you're not relying all the time on opening Alistair. So I'm going to get into it. I'm going to briefly explain some things, but I'm going to make a bit of a combo tutorial video just based on just what I believe are the good parts of the deck and what combos you could be doing if you decide to go on this type of deck. So, very straightforward, 3 Alistair. Yeah, you always want to max out your amount of Alistairs in your deck, so you always want to see it in your opening hand. It's your engine, it's your starter, it's your arguably the best card in the deck. So, you cannot run anything less than 3. 3 Ecclesia. Some people go for 2, some people go for 1. I like having 3 copies just because I like to being able to get that extra monster on board. Maybe to go into Verite, or if you wanted to start doing the normal shenanigans you would do normally with the Dogmatic engine. So getting your wind out, getting stuff from your extract to grave. And then I run 1 Fleur, 1 Max. So I'm starting to go off Maximus now that the Despia deck is in the format. You don't really want your opponent to send 2 cards off Maximus's effect. I'm thinking of dropping this and the Shaddoll package with Schism out of my profile simply because Wind is good. It can be outed very easily now, especially in the top decks of the format. And Maximus is just, like I said, you don't really want your opponent sending things. I might drop the Maximus and put a Dogmatika punishment in, and then drop the Schism, maybe put another hand trap in. But for now, I'm rolling with this. But yeah, I'm kind of looking for suggestions, what other people's opinion is as well, along just while I'm trying to get my optimal build. 2 Fallen of Albaz. I kind of need to run 2 of it. You don't really want to draw it. It can come up sometimes if you draw it, especially if you come up against the Dogmatika match, or the Despia matchup, sorry. So you can normal summon the Albaz, activate its effect, and then fusion summon into, say, a Titanclad or Mirrorjade, maybe, if you can do that. So yeah, sometimes having the extra copy in your hand does help. I just run 2 because you always want to make sure it's in your deck. I do tend to banish it and not be able to get it back during my combo. Playing the DP engine in this deck, Daisher and Celestial are my 2 go-tos for this. Just to draw 2 off Celestial, and then sometimes with the Daisher, you could draw the Fleur or the Maximus, and it can kind of come up, just being able to summon it. I like the engine in this deck, the adding the DP in, because again, the ideal scenario is to either have the DP engine and the Dogmatic engine, or the Invoked or the Dogmatika, or the Albaz and the Dogmatika. Something you just want to have 2 of each, just to kind of be able to have a strong enough board. So that's the reason I like the DP package in this deck. We've got 3 Ash, 2 Veiler, 2 Ogre. I want to change this. I really can't find space, but I want to put Ghost Bell in. I might put Ghost Bell in if I drop the Shaddoll and Maximus part of this deck, which I probably will end up doing. I'll also kind of want to put an extra Veil or an extra Ogre in, or maybe put 3 Bell in and an extra Ogre. I'm kind of wanting to lean towards more hand traps in this deck. It's kind of needed in this format. So that'll probably be what happens if I take the Shaddoll part out of this deck. 3 Meltdown, it's just here just for the 3 Alistair, along with the 1 of Terraforming. So basically your 4 copies of Terraforming, or your 4 copies of Meltdown. So you've got your 7 copies of Alistair there. I wouldn't change anything about this. Meltdown kind of comes up as well with the branded fusion. I run the 2 Invocation. I'm happy enough with this. Sometimes you can have the Invocation and the Fallen of Albaz, or the yeah, and maybe you'll be able to go into a fusion, or maybe you can just hard poly into the DP like I've done once or twice with this deck. So one's not really enough. Three's a bit too much. Two's fine for me. Three branded fusion. Another great card just to add into this deck. Another power card. Being able to send the Albaz and a light. That's the one thing I kind of wish I could add. I wish I could add a light target that could actually do something. It's a bit annoying having to send an effect failure or a ghost ogre off to use this effect. That's one thing this deck lacks in comparison to the Shaddoll version, where you main deck Shadolls. I just don't particularly like main decking the Shadolls because I don't like decking into them. So, great card. Basically, your one card Mirror Jade. If you draw this with the Alistair, you get a Macabre and a Mirror Jade, so it's very strong in that regard. So, yeah, another great addition for this deck. Two Nadir, it's at 2 now. I can't run on a 3, unfortunately. Another copy of Ecclesia, so you've got your 5 copies of Ecclesia, basically. Yeah, wouldn't take this down anymore. Nadir is also very good now for sending the I'll start his name, Titanclad. You can say the Titanclad and add a Dogmatika or a Fallen Albaz if you need it. So yeah, very strong card, especially since it doesn't let your opponents send from extra deck like Maximus does. We've got 2 Fusion Destiny. Again, it's at 2, so can't run 3 of it. So that's another starter. Like I said, you kind of want to have, say, Fusion Destiny and an Ecclesia, or Fusion Destiny and a Alistair, or a Branded Fusion and a Fusion Destiny, stuff like that. So you want to kind of have 2 of those two ways into those engines, if possible, for your opening hand, and the rest hand traps or anything else. So yeah, that's my reasoning for running this. 3 triple tactics talents. I actually really like it in this format and in this deck specifically. I wasn't a big fan of it when I did my last deck profile. I just kind of thought it was a bit of a brick sometimes. Sometimes it wouldn't come up, but with the amount of hand traps in this format, it comes up so much. Being able to steal your opponent's monsters, yank a card out of their hand, or draw 2. The draw 2 comes up very well in this deck in case you don't have a second engine. So if you have the Alistair and the Invocations, normal summon the Alistair, they ice the Alistair, you have the Invocation in hand, or even if you don't, you can still talent and maybe draw into it. So I wouldn't, if you have these, I would recommend playing them in this. It was between this and Crossout Designator, and I just don't think Crossout does the same for this deck that this card does. You kind of need to get the cards to your hand as quick as possible. And then my final spell is Called by the Grave. I really want Prosperity in this deck, but I just don't have them, unfortunately. I would definitely run them because, like I said, being able to get into your engine cards is just key. Call by the Grave is just there to kind of help you do this, help your combos go off. It's kind of like triple tactics talent. Obviously, they don't negate the hand trap, but Call by the Grave negates the hand trap, kind of keeps your plays going. Self-explanatory. Keep it in at 1. It's only at 1. Now, this is my kind of attack card. I really like running this. There can be only one. This kind of wrecks nearly every deck I play against. So, no matter what 2 engines you have, and you have this card, so if you have the Alistair and you have the Fusion Destiny, you end with a Macabre, which is a machine, and then you end with DP, which is a warrior. So you activate this, and you're fine, and then you have the Alistair follow for next turn, who's a spellcaster, who can go into, I don't know, maybe a Parker Trio or something. So that's a fiend. So it nearly always comes up. The only slight kind of contradiction this card has would be with the Dogmatikas and the Alistair. So sometimes you can use Titanclad to summon an Ecclesia and then add a Fleur-de-Lis, but then you don't have your Alistair follow up for the next turn. So it conflicts in that way, but that's kind of a win more situation where you're probably going to win anyway. I would really recommend running this card, because even if you don't have any engines, this card can sometimes just make your opponent lose instantly unless they have a way out of it. So that's my reasoning for it. Schism, like I said, might drop it. I don't really like the engine right now. I don't like using Maximus to send 2 cards, your opponent sending 2 cards from the extra deck. Having a window is good, yeah, but there's stuff like Dark Ruler no more. There's, cards that can just get rid of the window. There's Mirror Jades, which can just banish the window. So it's Like I said, it's a good card. When they can kind of destroy decks single-handedly, but the main decks right now it doesn't. So that is my reason why I might drop it and then just maybe play a few more hand traps, or if I get prosperities, put them in. So onto the extra deck: two Macabre, one Purgatrio, and then one Yugoides, or whatever the hell the thing's called. I would possibly drop the Macabre. My extra deck space is very tight. Very rarely I'll go into a second, because a lot of the time I can get a fusion in the grave. So even if I use my Albaz or my branded fusion spell, by the end of it I have the the Dogmatika. If you use the Dogmatika engine, you'll have the, well, you could have the Titanclad and Grave, or even if you use Mergeade's effect, if you have Mergeade, it sends Titanclad. You can banish Titanclad to summon Yugoides. So I very rarely go into two. Purgatrio is good because sometimes you can win games off it, and it's very easy to go into it because of Almirage and because of Ice Blossom. So they're my ratios for the Invoke cards. Happy enough with them. Like I said, maybe put the Macabre down to two. Got one Mergeade, one Albion, one Titanclad. I see some people running the Lubellion. I kind of realized I don't need the Lubellion, because if you can just normal summon this, activate its effect, the fuse, you can just fuse it with itself and the Fallen of Albaz by banishing the two of them, and then summon the Mergeade. So you kind of just skip the need for the Lubellion. And then Brand of Fusion sends the Light to Grave to summon this, and if you have the Alistair, you can then just use the Invocation to fuse the Alistair and the Light target, which normally is a hand trap for me, unfortunately. So that's how you get your Macabre and your Mergeade. Mergeade is just a great card, and especially this format, it's just being able to banish is brilliant. The board wipe actually comes up more than I would expect it to. Some people don't actually realize that it will wipe the board when it leaves the field by the opponent's card effect. And then Titanclad, very, very good to send off the Mergeade, because then you can, on end phase, summon the Ecclesia, or add the Ecclesia to hand, or add any of the other Dogmatikas to hand. So it's pretty good, comes up a lot. The Shadalls, I might drop them, like I keep saying. It's just a standard package. You just get the construct. You send the construct and the Al Capone. Al Capone will add Schism, discard Schism, construct, a it back to hand. Win to start a summon on the next turn. Takes up 3 extra deck spaces. I kind of wish I had a bit more extra deck space for a few other cards. There's been times testing where I've used Mergeade's effect, and because Albion's already banished, and then the Titanclad is usually in the grave, I can't even activate the Mergeade's effect, so I'll probably put one more in, maybe, I don't know, a Super Poly target, or maybe main deck Super Polymerization. I'm kind of liking it, this format, so very, very tempted to drop these. DP, do I need to explain? One of the best boss monsters of the format. Being able to have this alongside one of your monsters, like the Mergeade or the Macabre, is just very strong. Recursion's very good. The draw 2 off the Celestial comes up a lot with this as well, and this, especially in this deck where you kind of use your hand a lot. Sometimes at the end of the turn you might only have like 1, 2, maybe 3 cards left in hand, so everything about this engine is just very good for this deck. And this might get dropped as well then if I'm dropping the Shadal Maximus engine. It's a good card and what it does. I might keep it in if I run Punishment instead. I've kind of just don't really use it that often, especially since I go first, but it's good having it there in case I do need it. So that's its reason for being in here. This is actually Verte. I actually let my friend borrow the Verte, so I don't actually have it for this deck profile, but Verte's there just for the fact you can summon the Alistair and then go into the Ecclesia. I don't use the Ecclesia's effect, so you can still special summon, and then you go into Verte, you Invocation into the Macabre, and then use this Verte's effect to summon DP. So that's why DP's there. And then Secure Gardener, Almirage, that's just there for the just standard Alistair combo. It's normal summon Alistair, link into Almirage, link Almirage into Secure Gardener, you've got your light target. So that's just the links. So that's it, guys. That's the extra deck and the main deck done. I'm actually really, really hoping that people give me some input on this. I'm really just want people's opinions on what you think about the Shadal engine if you do run this deck. I personally am starting to lean off it, like I said, for many reasons in this video, just because there's so many decks out there, especially the Despia deck, that just you tell him to put 2 cards from there actually to the grave, you're going to pay for it. So it's just at the end of the day, the contrast between what I gain and what I lose isn't good enough. I don't gain enough and I lose too much. I'm just not keen on it. So I may go for the punishment. So guys, let me know your opinion, what you would do. Let me know what you think of the profile overall. Let me know if it helped you. Uh, if you like this video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. We've got loads more content there, loads more dark profiles, some Master Duel content. We're going to get some new content soon enough as well. I'll have it all scheduled. It's all going in on Thursday. I'm going to start it all. So, guys, that's it for the video. Hope everybody enjoyed, and I'll see everybody for the next video. Goodbye.